Welcome to
We're
Dave Blade.
back again, Rodney. We're back.
Well, we are, but you nearly weren't. Come on, you've had this disease. It's called an upset
It's
stomach.
no disease. It's no disease. Actually, I'll tell you what it is. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. So, as part of this health regimen that I've started for myself probably about 6 months to a year ago, I've added and I eat a good amount. I eat every day. I have some fermented vegetables like sauerkraut and pickles, and I
Yeah,
love
they're
all that.
good. They're good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I found out that they supply a certain amount of probiotics, but I wanted to know what probiotics I wasn't getting from the foods. And then I started supplementing with those. And I think that was the thing that put me over the edge. So for like a day or so, my stomach has been kind of off kilter.
Well, mainstream medicine that you certainly know about uh, poo-poos this idea of supplements. But some supplements actually are very strong. You've got to watch it.
Oh, I know. And that's why I was careful to only be supplementing with the probiotic strains that I'm not getting from food,
Ah,
right? So a lot of times people go out and they think they like more is better. Oh, look at this probiotic. It's got a billions of everything. And that's not the way to go. You want to introduce as much as you can through food. And then if whatever you're not able to actively get on a daily basis, that's what you supplement.
yeah, absolutely right. Well, I mean, we're saying right, but I mean, the truth is, when are you going to stop cooking for yourself?
I know. Well, because I'm constantly experimenting. So I'm like in the kitchen, I'm like an alchemist.
Yeah. Listen, well, we're on the subject. George Magazine, I mean, has it got a dating section, Dave?
A dating section. That's a funny idea. We should have some kind of a dating section and we can auction off Gene.
He's the guy. Yes, he
We could
knows
have him
about.
up on, we could put him up on a little runway like Kramer from Seinfeld, doing a little dance and everything.
Well, I think you could do with a chica to help you out. I mean, don't be picky. I mean, when you get to your age, Dave, you cannot be picky. You want somebody that can cook.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, that would be one of the main things. That's true.
We'll move on to lighter matters. No, we
Uh,
won't. It's a dreadful matter if you analyze it, and that's Ivanka Trump. And
yeah.
she's been targeted. What's going on here?
Well, what's happening here is the IRGC, the Iranian Royal Guard, whatever the world they call themselves. Um, what they're doing is they're trying to target Ivanka for the strikes against them and to bring pain to the Trump family, as opposed, of course, to just letting go their whole nuclear program and their long-range ballistic missiles and inviting untold amount of wealth and investment into their country. So they would rather hide underground and do their thing that way than I mean, their mentality is just off the charts. So, yeah, so they're trying to target Ivanka. And of course, now she's got heightened security around her. And they caught the guy that was behind the plan, thank God. But Rodney, on the social media, particularly X, which is like the I don't know, it's like the Bowery of social media posting. They're actually coming out and saying, "Oh, it's fake. It's all fake. He just wants an excuse to go after Iran." These people will post the propaganda points of all our enemies all day long as if it's true. It's
Well, it's
really terrible.
bitter and twisted, isn't it? I mean, this is inherent in something like this. And I tell you, you know about the actual march in London, which was a family march this last weekend.
Right.
And a lot of the people there were Christians that marched. They're
Sure.
concerned about the United Kingdom. And they were posting pictures of the march and how absolutely day out with the family that it was. And they posted them on social media. And I got into this. I thought, oh, hang on, let's look at the after postings, the comments.
Oh, the comments. Yeah.
And 95% of them were really of this nature, bitter and twisted. You know,
Yes.
you might expect 50-50, but no, it's talking about disease. It really affects certain people and it brings out their real heart and soul, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think the problem that all of these posts, like for example, it's a nice march. The people are out with their family. They're yes, and they're supporting a certain cause. And the people that are commenting are just jealous. It's all envy based. And they're so incensed and jealous and envy of anybody that's out there doing what they deem is right. It's just envy. So they post that way to demoralize them.
But it is from the left again, Dave.
You know, you want to say that, Rodney. You know, you want to say, oh, it's the left, the left, the left. But I'm going to tell you right now, what I'm discovering is that this far right movement in the country, for example, you have MAGA, which is the Trump supporters, right? Let's call them Trump. Let's even forego MAGA for a minute, Trump supporters. Then you have this America First gang that claim to be part of MAGA or Trump supporters, but they're not. And you have this America First gang that are nothing more than Nazis. They're pure, they're not neo-Nazis, they're not pseudo-Nazis, they're just plain old Nazis. They're going now under this banner of Remnant Rising, right? Remnant Rising. And wherever you see Remnant Rising, that's a pseudonym. That's like their code for Nazi rising or Fourth Reich rising. As a matter of fact, we had on the program that Gene and I do during the week, we had on our friend Donay Clement Petruska, and who is the daughter of Kim Clement. And Kim Clement had a vision years ago of a Fourth Reich, and we know from the Bible that that's coming anyway, that that's coming. But he made it exceptionally clear, and we can see it now, even in Australia, Rodney. Even in Australia, you have the One Nation Party, right? In Australia, you have One Nation. That's like our Trump supporters. That's like the United States MAGA. Then you have this kind of embedded, but it's like an offshoot called Australia One. And Australia One is like the very far right. And you got to be careful of these people because they embed themselves in a genuine grassroots movement and then feed off of it. And they're nothing more than ultra far right. I mean, these people are beyond white supremacy and all of that. These are Nazis.
Yeah, it is quite different in Europe, mainstream Europe, if we can call it that, because, yeah, well, you have extreme right, but they're not organized at all. You can dismiss them at the moment. When we
Correct.
say right and the left say, oh, you're far right, no, you're not. You're right, conservative, not aggressive. But that's it. That is a difference. Going to another difference,
Yes.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening there, of course, is that China is showing her force with her great fleets of ships. Now, they've got second only to the US in the number of vessels. It's big.
Is now you're a man, and I've known you for a long time, and you're a great financial wizard and so on. So you understand what for a particular company or organization what the market cap means, right? Okay. So the market cap for the United States is about $79 trillion. That's the market cap. The market cap for China is about seven trillion. They are not even in our league. They're so far down the totem pole. And this whole notion, oh, they're the number two economy. Yeah, but it's a far stretch before they ever get to where the United States is. So President Trump, the Trump administration has various aircraft carriers, battleships down in the Caribbean. And, so Xi from China figures, oh, tit for tat. I'll send some aircraft carriers and battleships over into near Taiwan because he thinks we're sending them near Cuba.
Well, they may look good, the ships, but as we know, they're not capable. They've not got the insights, the technology that makes a ship dangerous. They're a generation behind.
I would even say that the United Kingdom has far better ships, battle-ready ships, than the Chinese do. Look, the Chinese people are wonderful people, but the Chinese government, first of all, Xi has decimated his military. I mean, whether he fired like all his general, I don't know what he did over there. So anyway, so they're all out. The next thing is the Chinese people have never fought. When have they been in a war? They've never fought. And if it wasn't for the United States, frankly, the Chinese people would be speaking Japanese because the United States had to rescue China from Japan in World War II. So let's call it what it is. Tried to push the border with India a few years ago, and the Indians beat the daylights out of them.
Well, let's mention a name. Smart. They're smart if they can get where they are now without any wars.
They're smart, but only because they have the people. And being that they have the people, they have the market. And being that they have the market, our transnational corporations want that market, want the money. If China only had, 100 million people, nobody would be looking at them.
You've got a real
They
problem.
could be smart all day long, but if they don't have the numbers, then yeah, okay.
As we speak, breaking news from China. There's been a massive gas explosion, 79 people killed, and probably well over 100 by the time they sort the bodies out. Now, this consistently happens. The people are cruelly treated. Health and safety does not exist in China. It goes along with everything else that comes out of that country. You're not well treated. We've seen some horrific films of how older people are treated in their old people's homes. It is horrible. We know about the Uyghurs, we know about how the Christians are treated. You would think by now somebody would start rising up and saying, this is not good enough.
Rodney, you can't blame the people too much because right now the regime is strong and the communist regime have an iron fist over the people. For example, now everyone that serves in the military or serves in the government in one way or another has to deny has to deny the existence of God, has to deny the existence of the Bible and Jesus Christ. I mean, they have to deny that and accept the state as their God. I mean, this is a document that they actually sign. So whenever you see the marching armies and all of that, those people have signed that document. So when the state is your God, the elderly become expendable. Anyone that's not actively contributing to the economy is expendable immediately.
The underground church, of course, is alive and well in China, and there's a lot of them.
Well, yeah, yeah. And they have to stay underground. People say, oh, China's free. You have Bibles in China. Yeah, state authored. The Chinese literally rewrote the Bible to make it state friendly.
We're going to mention Tulsi Gabbard. Now, she's been, in some senses, a bit of a thorn in the flesh. So has a number of people for the Donald. And basically, she has resigned. The backstory, of course, is that her husband has got this very rare bone cancer disease. She wants to look after him, and I'm sure that is true. But I think also there's much relief in the president's camp because she does not want a war in Iran. She doesn't want it to conclude by giving us all your enriched uranium. And of course, that is a sticking point at the moment.
Yeah, the thing is you can't go beyond the profession. She left, she resigned. Her husband apparently was diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer, like you said, which is no joke. That's that's horrible. And our prayers are with her and with her husband and her family. Um, as far as her job in the office, remember, of course, she was the one that told President Trump that Iran had no nuclear program. They weren't attempting to create a nuclear bomb, and they had no long-range ballistic missiles. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, there's a good deal of history there. Okay, maybe it's for the best for everyone. Finally, we've got to say that again, there's been a reshuffling. Republican this time, Thomas Massey, seven term. I mean, that goes back, and he's practically a fixed asset. Or is he an asset? Again, not anything really major, but he seems to stick in the throat of the Trump man because he's always getting kickbacks. We've got that in the United Kingdom. It may be from your party, but is it worth all the trouble?
Well, um, look, here's the thing. First, let me just address one more thing. There's a lot of crazy talk out there of who would replace ODNI or DNI Gabbard in the office, and for what it's worth, George Magazine feels um, that John Ratcliffe would be the obvious choice since he held the job previously and now he's the director of the CIA. But that's, of course, up to President Trump. Um, anyway, all of these other suggestions, who knows? But Radcliffe seems the obvious answer to that. And okay,
Well, Gal Raines got in, of course, and I'm not surprised. 54% to 45%, that's a
right.
healthy margin. But the money that there's been thrown at this, and a lot of it's from the Jewish section as well, to get rid of him and put in.
Well, it's not from the Jewish section. It's not like, they're funding him out of Tel Aviv. And let me tell you something. APAC is the A stands for American. There are American Jews that might contribute, but as far as compared to CARE or some of these other organizations, they're minor. Look, that this is what I was trying to get at the top of this program. Is that we're watching a rise and revitalization of Nazism. That's what's coming back. That is what is on the rise. Going under the various banners, Remnant Rising, or whatever other rising. That's what this is. This is all a revitalization and rebranding of Nazism. And I'm going to tell you right now, Massey got voted out. Voted out. That's it. He only won two counties. Okay, in a staunch Republican district, he won two counties. He got voted out fair and square. And what does he do? He gets up on the stage there in his concession speech, and he said, "It took me a little while to call my opponent and concede, because I didn't have his phone number in Tel Aviv." I mean, what jackassery.
Well, they certainly like him in the south. The north, of course, would be more acquiescent to
I
him.
don't know. I don't know. Is that true? Is that true any longer? Do we still have that Mason-Dixon dividing line?
It appears so, according to information, but there you go. Now, with all this monumental divisions within parties,
Yep.
uh, President Trump has got another 3-ish years to go.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of work to do, as we mentioned last time. Iran, going back there swiftly, is it's a lot more difficult than even he thinks. It's good to be optimistic and to go in there gung ho, maybe, but he's finding the truth now. And the truth is that the sticking point, as I mentioned, is uranium. They're going to hold on to that uranium as long as they can.
Right. Right. The regime right now just wants to survive. If they can survive somehow and just hang on and outlast whatever, agree to whatever, but still survive, they're going to consider that a great victory. That's all they're looking to do. And what the Iranian people need to realize is once if they can get rid of this regime that's in there, this Islamic regime that's in there, if they can get rid of them, their country will once again prosper and become extremely wealthy, and their lives will change for the better. But these nut jobs, these insane people that they have running, they're crazy people. So
We've got to go. We've run out of time all too soon. And we've got to mention that there are problems in Germany, and they invented sauerkraut. Whether there's a link, Dave, I don't know, but you've got to look after yourself at your time of life.
that's right. That's right. My time of life. That's fantastic. All right, Rodney, it was good seeing you. And Lord willing, we'll do this again a week from now.
Good idea. Cheers.